Okay, so I know this probably isn't going to be one of my more popular videos, Bernie supporter though I am, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to explain why I'm going to vote the way I'm going to vote blue no matter who, which I know a lot of Bernie supporters and people on the far left think is a very robotic response. But at this point, considering how many robots our society creates, I want to use my robotry for good rather than evil. And I think it is good. Well, maybe not good, but it's the lesser of two evils, which I know we're always falling into that category. And I know, like, a lot of people on the far left are always complaining that, like, oh, I'm always voting for the lesser of two evils. But until our government stops being so goddamn corrupt, I think that's kind of what we're going to have to continue to do. But this election, I feel like we're really vying for the lesser of two evils. And I know, we keep saying that every new election, but they keep upping the ante because they know how to do it. That said, the other side keeps upping the ante. Like Bernie Sanders totally upped the ante with his rhetoric, his populist rhetoric. And I just think, if anything, it emboldened the far left, but it might have emboldened them so far that what they're going to inadvertently do is turn our country into a fascist state. Okay, what do I mean? I mean, you guys probably know what I'm hedging at, but um so why do I have Noam Chomsky up here? Well, I saw the interview with Noam Chomsky on Democracy Now, wherein he was talking about just the if basically, if we end up letting Trump win, he used the words nuclear war. When Noam Chomsky uses Donald Trump re-election, 4 more years of Trump and nuclear war, I've got to say, at this point, my suspension of disbelief is sky high that anything even more catastrophic could happen. I mean, we've already had this pandemic, which we thought was somewhere in Never Never Land, and Stephen King wrote a book about it. So now it all feels like we're living in a Stephen King book. Although, ironically enough, due to government intervention, it hasn't gotten as far as the Stephen King scenario got. But at this point, I'm not saying, obviously, the pandemic is not Donald Trump's fault or his doing, from the best of my knowledge, but at the same time, it's just like, what the hell else could happen? I mean, there are arguments that Donald Trump is like basically our president from an alternate universe. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard the conspiracy theories that his uncle was friends with Nikola Tesla, and he got secret technology or access to secret technology about jumping universes or time traveling or whatnot. And then, of course, I'm sure I don't have to tell you about the book about the what was it? It was Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, the Barron Trump book. If you guys want to look that up, I'll actually leave a video on it from my other channel. But anyway, so it's just like one of those things where I just kind of feel like, at this point, sorry to say, most people in our country are ready to hear Bernie's message, but not everybody is. And are we really all that surprised? Are we really all that surprised that once everybody started mobilizing behind Joe Biden, that Joe Biden then became the front runner? Because that's what we all thought very early on. It was like, I thought it was probably going to be Joe Biden or Kamala Harris that came out on top. But it turned out to be Joe Biden, and I was really surprised when Buttigieg and Klobuchar were doing so well in the primaries. I was actually even doubly surprised that Liz Warren didn't win, because when I watched the ground caucuses in Iowa, two of them, Liz and Bernie, were on top. So that kind of surprised me. And I get it if people think there's voter fraud, but again, are we really all that surprised? Bernie tried to run in 2016. Look what happened. And he tried, God bless him, he tried again in 2020. Now, I get it that people are upset that maybe he's not calling out voter fraud, and that's certainly a legitimate concern. But at the same time, I don't know, and I hate to even have to say this because it's such a horrible thing to have to even speculate. Like, I don't know if people are threatening him behind the scenes, saying, like, if you do this, like, we're okay, we'll let you do this and we'll let you serve in this capacity of government, but if you go too much farther than this, then something's going to happen. So I just don't know what they're saying to him behind the scenes. It's been posited that Bernie's a sheepdog because he was told that, oh yeah, Joe Biden's going to see to it that your policies will be held front and center stage, and maybe not front and center stage, but that we'll do something with your policies and we're going to try and go more far left, blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not true, I don't know, but I just think Bernie's in a really difficult and awkward position because he's an insider trying to change it from the inside out, trying to change the system from the inside out. And he's only one person. Now, of course, he has supporters, which is great. And I think those supporters are increasing in number. But it's going to take time and it's going to be slow. And he's going to have to weigh his actions and his options. So, and to do that, of course, and to make sure that some of his policies get passed, he can't just be like, well, fuck you to all of the rest of government. He's kind of got to play with them. He's kind of got to play nice. And considering that Bernie is trying to get the vote through, or trying to allow prisoners to vote, it kind of seems to me like he's one of those guys, or he's one of those people who tries to see the best in everybody, including Joe Biden. Not Donald Trump, though, but including Joe Biden. But my concern is that all relationships and everything are about compromise. And my concern is, and I don't know if this is a Russian bot type thing trying to rend the Democratic Party, such as it is, even though it's not very democratic, but people think that's okay. People think it's going to be okay to take the Democratic establishment down. But then if we take that down, then what are we left with? We're left with 4 more years of Donald Trump, wherein he's not going to give a shit. He's going to do whatever he wants to do because he doesn't have to worry about getting reelected. And with all the environmental policies he's rolled back, I'm thinking that he's going to try and roll back a lot more for the human good the longer we wait, and the longer we wait to get him out of office. That speech that he made at the State of the Union, the first thing he said was that he kicked more people off Social Security than any other president. And I knew what he meant, and I think everybody knew what he meant subtextually. He meant that he cut the program. It's not because he did anything for them. And you want 4 more years of Trump, you're going to get more of that. If Joe Biden becomes president, yeah, it's probably going to be real milquetoast, more middle of the road, maybe even a little bit right of center sometimes, but when you consider having a majority in the Senate, a possible majority in the House, those would be good things, including liberal judges, because right now the right wing is trying to get as many conservative judges to step up and possibly be on the Supreme Court as possible. I mean, I know that there's, that obviously there's only 9, but even still, it's just going to be a nightmare. I mean, if we let Trump have a second term, there is more possibility than any that our country could turn into a fascist state. It's all about balance. That's the whole thing with our government. Nobody gets what they want all the time because you've got checks and balances. It's not how it works. Anybody who's been in an adult relationship knows it's not how it works. You're not going to get it all in the first one fell swoop. And honestly, if Bernie were winning and it was really easy for this time for him to win, people would be suspicious at that too, because people would be like, oh, I thought he was an outsider. Wow, they're making it really easy for him. He must have a deal with them in the back room that he's not going to do too much. And you know what? Maybe he wouldn't get too much done as president because, again, there would be checks and balances. But at least we'd pave the way and have a better road to getting more of what we wanted and continue working towards it in sort of a milquetoast, like middle of the road state, rather than a Donald Trump ruled fascist state. And that's what I worry. If there are Russian agitators, then maybe that's what they were trying to do. Maybe that was their big picture goal this whole time. In any case, it's about Bernie's ideas and the movement. And if we have to go slowly, then we have to go slowly. And that's just what we're going to have to accept to do, because obviously the system is not going to let us do this yet, not to the full extent. So again, I would just be careful. I would just be careful about thinking that you're showing the establishment something and not voting. Yeah, you're going to show. What are you showing the Republicans? I mean, everybody talks about showing the Democrats. Oh, we're really going to show the DNC. What are you showing the Republicans? You're showing the Republicans that if we don't get our way exactly as we want it, then they could very well instill a fascist leader. That's what we're showing Republicans. And thinking that we're not being pushed around, they're totally going to push us around because they're going to have rule of the roost. So again, it's a shitty position to be in. It sucks, but we've got to take into account of incremental changes and things that we can do to empower ourselves incrementally and shift our focus and sort of adapt, as they say. So that's why I'm voting blue no matter who. I know it's probably not what people would want to hear. but who cares? I don't really have a lot of I don't really have a lot of subscribers anyway on my channel, so who the heck's going to see this? But that's about it. Unfortunately, this is the world we live in, and we're gonna have to adapt to it a little bit and try and get our work done as much as possible as we can within the realm of this reality. In any case, but if that changes, if I change my mind, then I will be the first to let you guys know. All right, that's about all. Peace out.